Hi guys, welcome to the Business N Banter podcast. I'm your host Z.
And I'm Lee.
And today we've got Joe Marone.
How are we doing?
Alright, Joe?
Yes, not bad, mate. Are you?
Yeah. Thanks for coming down, mate.
Yeah, it's alright, no problem.
So,
been overdue, really. We're going to do it last weekend, won't we?
Yeah.
But a lot of things going around and that, you know.
it's hard to get everybody timed to do something at the same time.
Yeah,
these days.
sinking it, innit? Family life.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely,
Yeah.
man, definitely.
What can you do?
So, for people who don't know who are you and what do you do?
Well, I'd love to say I'm a local millionaire, but that's not the case. My name's Joe Marone. I'm a manager at the family welding firm, FINA Welding Fabrications. We're based on Corringham Road Industrial Estate. I'm a manager there, as well as my cousin Matteo. He's a manager as well. Both of our dads are directors for the company, and we basically estimate jobs, liaise with customers. We have a lot of people customers coming in asking questions about what we can do, and we kind of just introduce them to the firm and, you know, ask any questions that need asking and get them what they need, really.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you...
It's nothing to do with the mafia, is it?
Not on this podcast, no. That's a different.
I just thought I'd ask because,
That's
Italians.
That's a different podcast. That. That's after this. I've got to go later.
There you go, that's it.
No, that's yeah.
Just checking.
Mm.
Don't want anybody knocking on the door.
So you said it's a family business. How long have you guys been going?
Yeah, so it started. We grew up in Spain, and my dad owned a welding firm out there. We went out there in when I was 7. I think we come back in 2008 because the recession hit pretty hard in Spain. So obviously the jobs that were being done, people couldn't pay for them. So we ended up having to come back to England, and then in 2015 my dad started up again. Started off in quite a small unit, just in by himself with a bench and a welder, and then my uncle John came on board in the office doing like invoicing and, you know, getting quotes and things like that. And then I don't think it was that long after John started that I started there. Never done any welding, fabricating, anything like that before. I think I was working at Rampton Hospital at the time, and having my eldest didn't synchronise too well with the hours and days and stuff, so I went there. He pretty much taught me how to weld, and then kind of just went from there. And we're on our 3rd unit now, and there's about 6-7 of us.
It expanded quite quickly then.
Yeah, he's done really well.
Yeah,
really well. Yeah, he's kind of a bit of a workaholic. But it's now me and Matteo are there, we're kind of starting to take the reins a little bit, just so we can have a bit more time reaping the benefits of his hard work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going from strength to strength and doing pretty good. Yeah.
Potentially to even grow bigger and bigger.
Oh, we hope so.
Yeah.
We hope so. Yeah, it's going that way. You know, each year we're doing better, and, you know, we're starting to sort of trying to specialise in stainless now. So we're getting a few new customers that.
So you do stuff for agricultural?
We do a lot for food and pharmaceutical.
Yeah.
But then, like, you know, for a few weeks we'll have just stainless steel working, you know, quite clean, you know, sort of high quality stuff. And then
you do stuff for kitchens, or
we can, we do anything like that.
Hotels and
we do all sorts. We do there's a quite a local packaging company for like vitamins and powders and proteins and things like that, and we do like the stainless hoppers for them, and obviously they've got to be done properly so food doesn't get in and, you know, nothing gets left behind, kind of thing. So quite particular work. But then we've also just done a big mild steel barn gate for a house out in Middle Raisin, big horse stables and that. So
it's quite varied then.
Yeah, very varied. Yeah, we do a bit of all sorts. To be fair, we're not really turned down anything. No. You know, we'll try and make sure it works.
Somebody could literally come to you with a drawing.
Yeah. Even just an idea. You know, sometimes we get people come up to us. You know, I've had this thought. You know, I've been fishing for 17 years. This bloke come in the other day, and I've noticed everybody looks at stuff around like this, but I've got an idea for this frame. Blah blah blah. Can you guys look at making it? So
basically,
you know,
anything that needs fabricating, these guys are the guys.
Yeah, anything at all. I mean, we get a lot of, like, obviously we're just steel fabrication, but we can get like plastics, like polyurethane, anything like that.
And you can solder. You can weld aluminium.
Yeah, it's
like
stainless, mild aluminium, galvanized, cast. Pretty much, literally
Pretty
anything,
cool,
really. Yeah.
yeah.
And if we can't do it in the house, we'll find someone that can.
And what about finishing the stuff? I mean, most of it's, I suppose, is just bare metal if it's stainless, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
well, because we've been doing it for a while, and the work's been so varied for a good few years now. We've got some really good relationships with local companies like powder coaters, laser cutters, machinists, things like that.
Yeah.
So literally, we can get anything made from scratch, whether it's like mirror finish, stainless, or just kind of 304. Don't have to be as high quality. We can.
Well, I myself, I use PB powder coaters.
Yeah.
Brilliant company.
Yeah.
In fact, we'll be interviewing them pretty soon.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good guys. They're good lads.
They do this new ceramic coatings as well, don't they? Do you ever use that?
No, we haven't had to yet.
No,
but we
it's
possibly
really
will.
good. It's expensive, but
yeah,
it is good.
I mean, most of the time, somebody wants something powder coating through us. It's sort of outdoor use on mild steel, just to give it that protective layer. So it's never really that high quality protection they need, or they'd go stainless.
Yeah.
But it does vary. Do you know what I mean? Like I say, it really does vary. So, I mean, we do anything to try and keep costs down for them as well.
Yeah.
If it's not like if it's a private individual that just wants a gate making, for example, the budget's a bit tight, then we'll sometimes it's cheaper to do mild steel and get it powder coated for that protection rather than a high quality stainless. So we'll just do what we can. And
that's a good thing that you've just said, that obviously you'd work with people to see if they did have a budget, you'd stick to that budget.
we do our best to.
I know myself, when I needed my frame doing, I remember speaking to so many different people, and like there was no ifs or
was
buts.
that the frame you had all the bags hanging off?
The boxing bags. So when I first started off, it was just like 4 posts and then like a little roof thing and then a couple of bags. Then I got it extended, and I had about 4 bags on there. In the end, I had about 16 bags. The frame was that big, but it was like this one person that I got a quote with, I was just like, we were close to doing a deal, but I was like, mate, like, this is the budget. If we can just negotiate just a little bit. We weren't even far off on numbers.
Right.
But he was just like, he just
Not
wouldn't
doable.
do anything. And just the way he switched and his customer service just went downhill. And I was like, even if we got to a deal, the way he treated me after we spoke about that, I was like, there's not much I could do. It was coming out of my pocket, and I'm not. It was only a boxing gym. I'm not. Do you get what I mean?
It's not. I get that.
Well, you won't get that with these guys.
No.
So
not at all. No, I mean, like I say, we do some really quite big stuff. We helped out a company that was going down to Peterborough, and they're basically completely refurbing this site. It was 150 by 150 stainless box section frames, and they were pretty big to the point where we had to work out whether we could actually tilt them once they were done, because corner to corner they were higher than the ceiling in the workshop. We managed to get them all done and everything like that, but we do massive projects like that. But then, like you say, we'll also do a gate for someone.
What's the weirdest thing you've done, you think?
I had a guy come in a couple of months ago, and it looked like an aeroplane wing, like part of an aeroplane wing. He wanted it like taking off, some angle on the back taking off, and like deburring and whatnot. It was just basically going to be like a mantelpiece. He wanted to put it on the wall. So I was like, it was however much it was. And then afterwards we got chatting. It was from a dam buster plane.
Oh, right.
And really cool guy, really nice bloke, and we was chatting for a bit, and he was giving me the backstory of it. And
from a Lancaster.
He used to be in the RAF, and he basically got given these bits, and he was saying, this wing's like 180 grand. I was like, should have charged him more, man. Should have told me beforehand. But
How about that?
Yeah, we have all sorts. We've had all sorts. Literally,
I've tried to do jobs cheap, people, and they've ended up saying to me, "Oh, this is going on a 20 grand."
Should have told me that before. But
should have charged me a bit more.
It's one of those things, isn't it? It's hopefully, like I say, he didn't have a company or anything like that, but hopefully he'll come back if he needs anything more. And that's what we aim for. We don't want to earn maybe like a little bit of money on a job. He'd rather it trickle in for years with repeat customers. It's so much better.
Exactly, yeah.
So much better.
Yeah.
You know. So I mean, it's one of those. We do the best job we can.
Yeah.
And if that sorts them for life, then great. But if they ever need anything else non-related, we hope that, you know, people come back to us, and they do. You know, we've had same customers since 2015, really. Some of them.
That's good. Yeah.
I think like one of the experiences that I had when I was speaking to fabricators, it was just like they'd say one thing and they just wouldn't. They'd be like, "Yeah, I'll come on Monday." They won't come. Or give me a call at this time. Ring, no answer.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, wow. Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
But obviously with you guys, it's...
Yeah, I think it's a bit different with us because obviously there's me, my cousin, my uncle and my dad in the office, that when that 5 o'clock time hits, we don't tend to finish work. We'll maybe go home, but then, 6:30, 7 o'clock, my dad will ring me and we'll have a chat about a customer for something. So, you know, we've always kind of got time. We might make time. Do you know what I mean? To kind of get things done, whether it's a case of, it gives me a call at 6 o'clock saying, can we go see this customer at 7 before we open at 8? Yeah. To get it in, then, that's
a lot of people don't
about
realise when you're self-employed, mate.
Yeah.
Work doesn't necessarily finish at 5 o'clock like it does for normal workers.
A job's not a job and it's your own company or whether it's family. Do you know what I mean?
When you're self-employed, it's 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
It is.
You got to chase opportunities.
I used to go to Play World, and I'm not joking. I'd be there just to play. Like my daughter have a bit of joke, whatever. People would ask about the gym and times, and I'm like, okay, here we go.
Yeah. Expecting a one-to-one on the padded.
I got some emails this morning about work.
You just thing is, if it's just the outlook. There's pros and cons to having your own sort of business, or at least working for, a family business. There's the pros of, obviously, you do have a little bit of freedom if you are sick or if something happens with your kids. There's that, your family, you understand.
You don't get sick pay.
You don't. Well, my dad charges me for sick. When I got sick, he charges me. No, but there's pros and cons, to anything. But I think the fact that we can kind of go in, in the fact that we're family, we can kind of have. I mean, we're Sicilian. Do you know what I mean? So an argument isn't an argument. It's just a debate about something, and then it goes.
Then you forget about it.
It's done. Yeah. It's not it doesn't hang about. Do you know what I mean? You'll have, there'll be all four of us in the office going at it about whatever, and then as soon as it ends, who's getting coffees? Do you know what I mean? It's not it doesn't stick, and people don't. We don't go right.
They're all good.
No, none of that. You haven't got time to, because you want to get a job done. You've got to communicate. You just haven't got time to. Whereas
you got to learn to deal with it and
move
on.
You've got to.
Yeah.
So talking about all the positives, working with family business, being established, what are the negatives to that?
The negatives, like I say, because my dad is a bit of a workaholic. It's not a bad thing, but it's a bad thing when you're his son and you work with him. It can be. Sometimes it's, there's a responsibility there. Obviously, if overtime needs to be put on to get a job done, it'll be down to me or Matteo first to try and go, right, can either of us two go in, open up, or get set up, or stay late, and things like that. Which again, isn't a bad thing. I mean, it's difficult when you've got a family. I've got 3 kids now, so it can be challenging trying to. She thinks I'm home at a certain time and I'm meant to be, but then something comes up 20 minutes before you finish, and
I know that. Well, bro.
It's difficult. It's difficult, but it doesn't happen often, and we all work together well. Do you know what I mean? So there's, that's the con. I'd say that's probably the only con, in a way, is the fact of, it doesn't really matter your job title. You want to do you want the business to succeed more than you would if you was an employer, an employee. Sorry, if you just work for somebody, you're getting a bit pissed off about it or whatever like that. You tend to slack, whereas you can't really do that when it's a family business.
No,
and me and Matteo kind of wanted to prove a sense as well that we are capable. We've learned a lot. We can kind of do a lot more than we are doing. At times. And it's when things like that crop up that you kind of got to go, I'll prove it, stay late, and
Just explain again, what's your main, what do you do a lot of most?
The main thing, apart from drinking coffee, is we basically quote jobs. So we'll get a drawing sent to us, or somebody will pop in, or we'll go and measure up a job from scratch and say, we want this and this and this, and we'll go measure it up and basically quote it out completely, get in touch with the laser cutters, powder coaters, machinists if need be. Basically get the job to a point where we can say, here's the price, and then negotiate if it needs to be done, or more than half the time they send a purchase order through before we give them a price.
What do you make more of though than anything?
What, work-wise? We have a lot of repeat customers for like stainless hoppers, things like that. They are like, it's random. I mean, sometimes we'll have maybe like 1 or 2 in a week, and then others will get a purchase order through for 6 without a price on, because they know we're consistent, and they'll say, make these as soon as you can, send us a price when you're done.
So Joe, what's the future hold for FINA, do you think?
Well, it's a good question. We've took on, we've had a new welder start, welder fabricator, not that long ago. We're kind of looking at moving units fairly shortly. It's on the horizon anyway, purely because of the size of the workshop, for the amount of work we can take on. We're a little bit limited to a certain degree with the size of the place. But we've got a customer that we've been using for little bits, for a few years. But last week was sort of the first time that they'd given us quite a lot of responsibility, if you like, to quote. And we've got, I think it was 85% of the job we got, they're really happy with the price. So we're starting that now. And they basically said, as soon as you've done that, let us know and we'll chuck more your way. Cool. So, that's really going to help us out a lot with looking at going, right, shall we stay in the unit we're in, or shall we look at moving to a bigger place, but that'll be,
it's not cheap,
unit.
Is it?
No, not at all.
That's a huge decision.
Oh, massive.
Huge decision.
Massive,
I remember going from when we had the old place to when we did the extension. It was like I had to calculate everything to make sure it worth it. Was it going to be?
Because the thing is, it's not just the difference in the rent. And it's literally the 30-40 grand that it's going to take to kit it out with extraction. Do you know what I mean? Health and safety things, and it's a lot.
It's also the loss of earnings while you're moving from one place to the other. There's no.
Yeah, I mean we're quite fortunate in the sense of we've still got a little bit of contract in the current building, so if we're able to strike a deal with a new place, it wouldn't be a case of we're out and we're in. It could be a gradual thing, but then it's also. Do you know what I mean? There's been discussions on having another smaller unit just for mild steel, so we can actually segregate mild and stainless, which is
that'd be handy, wouldn't it?
Really handy. I mean, we do it anyway with jobs if we've got
you won't have to walk around with magnets all day, would you?
No, that's the thing. No, if
we what you're on about.
I'll be honest. I'm just like, what?
Mild steel magnetic, stainless isn't. But sometimes it looks similar, so you test them with a magnet. But I mean, when you're doing stainless work, especially for food or pharmaceutical, any contamination from mild steel will rust, and that's like a no-no. So we tend to try and sync it anyway. So if we've got 5 stainless jobs and 5 mild jobs, we'll get them all done separately. So we'll get the stainless done at one time, then the mild. But there's only so much of that we can do, especially when an urgent job comes in. If we're in the middle of a mild steel job, so we've kind of discussed having another smaller unit just for mild steel, and the one we're in just being for stainless. Obviously that'll free up some space with the mild and things like that, but it's just like you say, it's knowing the right decision, the cost it's going to take to kit it out. And then again, when you're self-employed and you're relying on custom, if for whatever reason 2 or 3 of your customers shut down business, that affects everybody, so then it's like there's and ahhing about it. But we have took on quite a lot of work recently for new customers, so we're kind of
you're moving in the right direction.
The future's looking
it's looking good. Yeah, it's definitely looking good. We've had someone come in to talk about ISO, which is like a certification, it's like a standard, but it's not just the standard of the fabrication, it's the traceability for everything you do. Do you know what I mean? So if we was to do like a like a manway. We do manways for water tanks.
It's got to be within safety guidelines.
Yeah, everything. I mean, you need the certification for the material from the supplier. If something breaks, they want to be able to go, what material is it? Who welded it? When was it done? And be able to trace everything back. So that's a lot more work for us in the office as well. So, at the minute we don't have specific job roles. We kind of all help each other to do everything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's one of those. It's like,
a lot of your stuff is dangerous if it's built wrong.
Oh yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah. A lot of it. I mean, a lot of these stuff, it's going to Germany or or Sweden, all over the place, really. And if something does go wrong,
and if something failed, then that's on
it's
you,
our little family business. Medium-sized family business that's affected by it.
Yeah,
so, but that's why, we try and keep even the standard of welding really, really high.
Yeah.
And the good thing about us not being massive and having hundreds of employees is that we know exactly what's going on where.
So I was just going to say that. So obviously you guys are a medium-sized business. But a bigger business, do you think that they have the same amount of attention and care that's put into the work? Or
Definitely not.
Really?
Definitely not. I mean, we had loads of people interview for a job as a welder fabricator. We had supervisors come from other companies. Obviously, I'm not going to say who they were, but we've had them come and, their welding isn't to the standard you'd expect, let's say, from a supervisor or whatever. Only because, like, for the job, it might be spot on. But for what it's for, and the fact that we want to have complete faith in the welder to know that they're not going to leave a little pinhole and go, I'll be all right.
Yeah.
We need them to know that there's that standard there. But like you say, because there's 4 welders at the minute in the workshop, as soon as the job's done, we know that job's done. And it's not, there isn't any hiding spots or time for people to kind of, toss it off a little bit. It's a case of... we know exactly kind of what's going on and when.
Yeah.
But it's also better for the welders as well. If there's a problem, if they've got home, whatever going on, luckily my dad and John are very understanding, and they want the best out of the workers.
Yeah.
So it's not like a massive company where you don't know your employer's first name. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not hard to talk to the directors. They're right in the office. Do you know what I mean? And any problems, it's not hard to kind of have a sit down chat with anyone.
No, good.
And I think that helps us out a lot, helps them out. Do you know what I mean? If we look at getting a new piece of machinery in, for example, we'll probably have a chat with the lads in the workshop just to say, look, do you think this is going to benefit us as a company based on the work you've been doing? Do you know how to use it? Would you be interested in training for it? Do you know what I mean? It's a lot more of a team there.
Yeah.
Because if we slack in the office, they slack out there. It affects everybody.
Are all your products made in-house, or do you outsource?
We don't tend to outsource welding, but there are times where no welding's needed. We get orders for like a load of, say, 200 brackets. There's just bent stainless sheet.
Yeah.
We'll get the laser cutters to bend it and laser cut it, and we don't have to do anything.
Right.
We like that kind of work because it's not taking up time in the workshop, but then it does leave all the responsibility to the laser cutters. Do you know what I mean? Where the more we can do in-house, the more control we've got. So it's one of those. We quoted up a job for a company out, where was it? I think it was like Sheffield way last year. And there was these discs or whatever, and they gave us one, and they were very simple welding. But the example they gave us was shocking, like really, really bad. And we was like, bloody hell, like, who's done this, And we ended up doing a sample of one, gave it to the customer. They were really, really happy with it. But then we found out they were going to Peru, and there was like 600 of them on order, but they've been stopped because of the quality. So it was like we're negotiating with, well, not even negotiating, but we're in talks with our customer, whose customer is in Peru, and it's trying to sync everybody up to the time zones and everything like that.
Yeah, that's a nightmare.
It could take a long time to get the yes or no.
It took me about a month to get this order through to this guy. I forget where he was now, but it's like one email a day.
Yeah, just because of the time zones and that. It's mad,
wait till the next morning, these messages back.
Yeah. When you just want a phone call as well, sometimes it's difficult. But
nightmare.
It's one of those things. I mean, it's just trying to do what you can, do the best you can.
Brilliant. I think we've covered everything,
Yeah.
pretty much, haven't we?
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on, bro.
Thanks for having me,
We
gents.
appreciate it.
Really appreciate it. Thank you for that.
So hopefully we can get you in for a part 2 at some point as well.
Yeah, see what's changed in that time.
Yeah.
Probably not another kid like that. You never know, do you?
Oh, you'll get that football team yet, mate.
That's it, yeah. But no, I appreciate it, gents. Thanks very much for having me.
Cheers,
Thank
Joe.
you.
Thank you.